You've taken a step from spring to fall, going through the summer workouts and such.
I definitely did. I mean, obviously transitioning from quarterback to receiver, mentally, like as far as the cerebral part of the game, it was kind of easy. But as far as physically, it's just, getting used to, at quarterback, you don't really run that much, you know what I mean? So I feel like just adjusting to it with my body was the main thing. And I feel like it wasn't that hard for me, but it was definitely more challenging than I thought it would be. But I definitely feel like I've taken a step further as far as just leadership with the guys, just giving my knowledge that I got from a quarterback standpoint, and then just obviously out there working what I need to as far as fundamentals with the receiver position.
How big was the spring for you to kind of knock the rust off and to then have that to work out through the summer?
It was pretty big. I mean, I feel like if I came in now, like if I was a freshman coming into the summer, it would have been pretty different, especially since it's the SEC and I'm changing my position. But it was pretty big for me. I was just trying to get the feel of it. I'm still getting a feel for it now just because it's much harder than people think it is. Like, receiver is not an easy position. And also, I'm transitioning, so like
so you didn't jump back to when you were 16 years old?
Oh, no, I definitely didn't. It was 100% different. High school is it's different levels to it, college and high school. So spring was pretty big for me. I just feel like I'm starting to get comfortable now, and that's what my coach has been telling me. So I'm kind of starting to get there for sure.
How much does it help to have Payton to be there with you every day to go through this process?
It's amazing, honestly. Like, we were just talking about it the other day. Like, we never thought that we would be in this position. But as far as Payton, he reminds me of Peyton Manning. Like, the cerebral part of the game, he has that down pat. So I played quarterback. I don't have as much experience as Peyton did playing quarterback, so he has more knowledge than I have. But when you got guys in a room like Dre and you got guys in a room like Rob, and then I got Peyton as a quarterback, I mean, I'm learning from three vets, from the cerebral part of the game, the physical part of the game, fundamental part of the game. So it's honestly just helping me grow.
What was the hardest part of that transition?
The hardest part, I would say the intangibles. Like, DB got his hands on you, getting his hands off and stuff like that. Like, I can run routes. I mean, I feel like running routes, don't get me wrong, it's an art. But, I mean, that's something that you can work on all the time. You can't really work on the one-on-ones with a DB if you're not, like, sometimes you got to take that rest and stuff like that. So it was really just learning, like, when to get the hands off, just the little things. I mean, everything else was pretty much easy for me, but that was probably the hardest thing for sure.
What kind of helped you adjust and improve in those areas? Was it just kind of a repetition, or?
It was definitely repetition. Like I said, having guys like Rob and Dre in a room, two vets, they just, whenever they see me do something, even if it's a good rep, they coaching me up on small things. Then you got guys like Coach Davis, Coach Heath, and Coach Moore in the room who just got that passion for us, who really care for us. So every single rep, like, it don't matter if it's the best rep I've had, it's always something that I can work on for sure.
What do you remember from last year's game
against Auburn?
Yeah.
Man, that's honestly kind of a blur, but I just remember Ben Finley started, and I think he had like three drives, and then they called me in. I did not know I was going to play in the game, but I was just ready to go out there because I knew my brother was on the other side of it. We didn't talk that week just because it's competition. I don't really want to talk to you, you know what I mean? But I just remember going out there in the first drive, we just walked them down and we scored. And then after that, it was kind of like back and forth between the two. And it was just crazy, like the atmosphere. We played at Cal, but like it was a lot of Auburn fans there, you know what I mean? So it was just, it was kind of a blur for me, to be honest.
Were you and your teammates kind of shocked at how many Auburn fans flew all the way out?
Yes, for sure, because that's so far away. That's like a 4 or 5 hour flight, you know what I mean? So we were talking about that after the game, obviously, but it was kind of crazy for sure.
Sam, I'm sorry if you were asked this already. We were over there, but obviously with the two freshmen coming in Cam and Perry, and then Rivaldo, do you feel like there's going to be room for you to operate rather than the slaughter elsewhere in this offense?
Definitely. I mean, obviously everybody's still fighting for a spot, but just to reflect on the guys we have, I mean, you got a guy like Cam who's just insane, as you guys can see out there today. He's just a specimen. Then you got a vet like Rob in the slot, and then you got Dre, who's also a vet, and those two guys are just super smooth with everything. Like, They got knowledge about the game, and they give it to us. Even though I'm going into my 4th year, it's still things I got to learn because I'm new to the position and stuff like that. But when you got guys like that in the room, and you got coaches like we have, Davis, Mo, and Heath, you don't really focus on, am I going to get the ball or am I going to start this season? It's really just you want to see everybody else in the room succeed. And I feel like once you get that mindset, then things just start coming your way, things just start going right for you. So,
as someone who's worked as a quarterback and a receiver, what are the most important things for the true freshmen to do if they want to contribute in their first year as wide receivers?
The main thing is people think at receiver is just about running the route, catching the ball, getting open. But really it's about knowing what the starting quarterback is thinking. You know what I mean? Like you go out there and you see a certain coverage, and it's like, if I know that it's like cover 3, it gives me an advantage as a receiver. But if I don't, then I'm just going out there and oh man, I didn't get the ball on this play. But sometimes, like me, I know every single time who's getting the ball, when they're getting the ball, especially when we're doing the RPO and stuff like that. But it's just an advantage just to know what coverage you're going up against and just studying who you're going up against. But in the slot, it's kind of different because you usually get like a nickel and you get like a safety over you and stuff like that. So it's really just an advantage to know what the quarterback is thinking, you know what I mean? So you really should think like a quarterback as a receiver rather than just getting open and catching the ball and running certain routes.
What sort of advantages do you think you have as a former quarterback? Moving to the receiver position. What are you drawing?
Knowing what Payton is thinking every single time. I know what he's thinking every single time. And I know it's kind of weird because I know when I'm about to get the ball, but I know when I'm not about to get the ball too. So I think that's my main advantage, just knowing if there's going to be a nickel fire, like a blitz or anything like that, or when it's man and I'm in the slot and I got that big boy fade, I know it's coming to me. And it's kind of weird just because I started to get nervous like when I'm about to get the ball, but I think that's the main advantage for me, just knowing what Payton is thinking at all times. And that's my best friend too, and I stay with him, so we kind of just have like a certain connection. But
does that help the fact that you guys have known each other for years?
It definitely does. I mean, it does for sure. I just think that main advantage, man, like it's crazy. Like I wish you can be inside my mind, but like even when I'm off the field, I just know what Payton's about to go with the ball, just the coverage and the leverage that the defense is having on us and stuff like that. So it's just knowing Payton, it definitely helps for sure.
How have you seen him grow, being back in an offense that you guys grew up playing?
Yeah.
Has that been a big deal?
It's been a big deal for sure. I mean, last year you seen Payton, and that it wasn't Payton. Like you go back to 2021, that's how Payton is playing now, and it is just playing. It's just up more. But I think the main thing was the receiver room. Like we didn't have a lot of juice in the room. But now we got those guys, and now you see Payton kind of flourish in that. Like you need guys around you. It's not like basketball. We can go and score 50.
Yeah.
It's like at quarterback, which is one of the hardest positions in football, probably in the world, probably the hardest job in the world, to be honest. It's just like with a guy like Payton, his cerebral part of it overrides all of the talent. Like, don't get me wrong, he's very talented. Mm-hmm. But Payton knows where he's going with the ball. And it's like, if you don't have receivers that know, I need to get open on this play, it's an RPO, I need to run my fade and get my eyes back, Payton is like, it makes the quarterback second guess.
Yes.
But now that you have guys like Cam, you got guys like Dre, you got guys like Rob, who know what it is, you know what I mean, who know that part of the game, it's easier for Payton to get the ball there because Payton knows where he's going with the ball every single time.
Yeah.
But that's why, as a receiver, you need to know what Payton's thinking. So you know I'm about to get this ball, or you know what coverage it is, so I need to run this route like this, or I need the tempo of it and stuff like that. So.
What do you feel like the potential of this offense is? I mean, just a few days into fall camp, but that's a pretty good smile that tells me that.
It's crazy, man. I mean, we had a pretty good running game last year, but they kind of struggled because we couldn't get the pass to work. And now it's like we can do both, and that opens up for both. You can run the ball really well, you can pass the ball really well. You pass the ball really well, you can run the ball really well. So, I mean, the offense is going to be insane. I mean, whenever I'm off the field, I'm just eating my popcorn, watching Cam go to work, watching a guy like Rob and Dre go to work. But just being in there, man, you like get the chills like before a play. You know, it's a big play coming up and stuff like that. And it's a lot going on defense. It's a lot of back and forth. It's never really defense wins a day, offense wins a day. It's a lot of back and forth. So it's like that offense is the motor of the team. I mean, like I think it's the receivers more. If that room is participating well and we're executing well, then the offense is on point every single time. So I think it's going to be crazy.
Cool. Sam, do you think you can bring sort of a big play ability to that slot position? Maybe stretch it a little bit?
I definitely do. I mean, it hasn't been a lot to show for it right now, but I'm not really worried about that. It's day 4, day 5. But I definitely do think that I can bring some big play energy to the offense. I feel like once we get later into it and we start like calling what we really want to call, because we're still like figuring out what we want to do and stuff like that, then that'll show. But that I haven't been too much concerned about that, just because we got guys that can make plays everywhere. So
people need their popcorn for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just get ready. It's gonna be a show for sure. Don't get me wrong. I know I talk about Cam, Rob, and Dre a lot, but I'll definitely bring some energy to that too, for sure.
You got 2 true freshmen that came in the summer in the room. How Malcolm and
Perry.
And Perry looks.
Those guys, I love those guys. You got a guy like Malcolm. If you watch Malcolm, you turn on the film, no matter what, if it's an MA, if he's doing the right thing, he's going to go 100% every single time. You know what I mean? And it's kind of crazy because, like, older guys in the room, like, we used to be like that as freshmen. But it was sometimes I'm like, I'm kind of tired of this play, even as a freshman. But he never gets tired, just 100%. Then you got a guy like Perry who's just big and strong. And it's like he hasn't even grown into his body yet. And it's like he's just throwing guys off of him, catching it and stuff like that. So it's just crazy to be who I am and then see who these guys are. And it's just like, it's almost amazing. Like, we're in the SEC, and that's what the SEC brings. So,
Can you tell Malcolm's a track champion?
Oh, he definitely is. He's running past everybody. Like, anybody he's going to run past. But that guy, he's extremely fast, and he has a lot of passion for the game, too. So,
you got your Auburn basketball hat on. You looking forward to getting over to Auburn Arena, son?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't got to go into any games yet, but I'm definitely excited to go see some guys play. We just got that freshman. I can't remember his name. He's a lefty, I want to say, but he's pretty good. I used to play basketball, so my brother, I call him my brother, Kevin Miller. He's at SMU now. We used to play in the circuit, and that freshman kind of younger than us, but I've seen him play before, so that'll be exciting for us this year for sure.